Good morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the US or across the world. I am super excited for today's presentation. Today is day 3 of 12 Days of Experts, and we have Kerry here with us today. Kerry is also a marketing agency owner, and I'm going to allow her to introduce herself and present to you on today. Kerry, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's super nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited to tell you all about my business, about myself, but more importantly, share the tips that I'm going to share in today's presentation. So my name is Kerry Taft. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. I run an all-in-one business management platform. We call ourselves an operating system with concierge support. We are called Taft Systems, and we service providers all over the world. And we have a little treat in store for you at the end of the presentation. So make sure you watch the entire presentation. I'm excited to share that with you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we'll get started. I have a little bit more intro about myself in the presentation. So let me share my screen. All right, I think we all can see that. Okay, so today I am going to talk about the 7 top things that I wish that I knew when I was starting out my business, because these are 7 things that I think are incredibly important that can set you up for growth and to accelerate your success. So who am I? Well, as I mentioned, my name is Kerry Taft. I didn't start out in marketing or automations or even working online. I started out as a fitness professional. And I have been over 20 years in the fitness world. I've worked both commercially, I've worked online, virtually, and I've also worked clinically. I knew I wanted to live life on my terms and that I wanted to impact the lives of others. So I did that through health and through wellness, both as mentioned commercially or clinically. And then I also transitioned into academia. So I actually taught as a professor at a university. I went from fitness professional to clinical exercise physiologist and professor, and then to now an agency owner. So as I mentioned in the very beginning, I own a business called Taft Systems, and we provide an all-in-one business management platform. So as everyone knows, 2020 was an incredible, difficult year, right? The world shut down. We all had to learn how to pivot and to be able to offer our services online. This is when I truly found digital marketing, and I just loved it so much. I love being able to impact the lives of others and help people continue to grow their businesses even through that difficult time. I didn't have a marketing background, but I knew in the core of my heart that this was the right path and this is what I needed to do. So today I'm going to talk about the 7 top things that I wish I knew, that in hindsight, if I had known these things in the beginning of starting my business, I know that I would have accelerated my growth and my success. So it's going to be around 4 main topics. And those 4 main topics are about creating a strategy to stay focused on your goal, staying organized from the very beginning, staying true to your solution, and then building key relationships to grow. So the very first tip that I want you to take away from today is probably the most important one, and that is your client journey. Your client journey should be your roadmap to help you stay on track with your offering and to ensure that you're providing your clients with the best service possible. You want to map out the actions that take place in the different stages of your client journey. You know what should happen, when, where, how, why, right? So if you get really clear on your client journey, it can be the true North Star of your foundation in your business. That way you don't get caught up in shiny object syndrome. So when we talk about the client journey, there are 4 main stages in the client journey. So the first stage is kind of a stage that we don't talk so much about, but it is important to get clear on it. That's your pre-lead stage. So this is where you are connecting with your audience, but they haven't opted in yet. You don't own their information. They have not given you their phone number. They have not given you their email. They are not a true lead at this point. They may be Facebook followers, Instagram followers. They may DM you, but they are not actually a lead yet. You still want to know, okay, how are these people finding you? What happens when they find you? How are you going to capture their information? This is what makes them then transition from that pre-lead stage into the lead stage. Now you have their contact information. So should Facebook, God forbid, get shut down, you still have a way of contacting and connecting with these people. So when they're in the lead stage, you know, okay, are they booking a call? What happens after they book a call? What happens if they show? What happens if they no show? You know those different stages. And it's really important, if you don't know them, to get clear on them so that you can always have that as your navigation, as you're working in business, as things get really busy, as you start to grow, as you bring new team members on. Then when your lead says, yes, I want to sign up, they pay for something, then they then become a client. So what needs to happen from that lead stage to that client stage? How long are you going to keep them as a client? What efforts can you put forth to keep them staying a client as long as possible? That may be having check-ins, that may be sending out email marketing, text message marketing, just to nurture your clients so that they can stay clients with you for as long as possible. And then when someone cancels or says, okay, thank you for the purchase, I'm done being a client, I don't need your services anymore, they then become what we call the alumni or post-client stage. You should get really clear on what happens at that stage. Do you keep them on your email list and send them an email once a month? Do you send them out information when you have new promotions? Do you do a reactivation campaign once a year or twice a year? You still want to stay at the forefront of their mind, even though they're not a current client, because they have at one point known you, they've liked you, they've trusted you, so they can then come back and become a client again or refer you to others. So by mapping out those different stages and what key actions need to happen in each stage really sets you up for success. And as mentioned, this is the most important tip you're going to get today. So if you take away anything from today, it is this tip. So my next tip is to create SOPs as you go. So once you become clear on your client journey, it will be time to start setting up all of the back-end operations. And I'm going to highly recommend that you choose a project management tool to help you do this. And while you're setting everything up, you want to create your SOPs or your standing operating procedures as you go. This will ensure that you're not only setting yourself up for success, but you're also setting your team up for success. And 4 must-have SOPs, in my opinion, are your new client SOP. What happens when someone says, I want to become a new client? They shouldn't have to chase you down to become a client and get all of the assets, the deliverables, or get access to your service. You should have that set up. You should have that in place and ensure that every single new person that comes on gets the exact same treatment, gets the exact same time from they sign up to they get their deliverables, or they get access to log into your platform, or whatever your service is. You want to make sure you have that new client SOP set up in place, and it should not live in your brain. You need to write it down so that in case you're not there, you're not able to run your business, someone else can step in and do it for you. Then I highly recommend having a new hire SOP. Don't try to recreate the wheel every single time you bring on a new team member. Set up your checklist So every time someone comes on, all you have to do is give them the checklist. Your SOP or your checklist should have all of the notes, the links, the actions that you need for your new hire to complete when they come on without you having to manage every single thing on your own. And of course, as you grow, as you get more clients, as you make more money, your SOPs are going to change. But if you already have that foundation in place, it's much more simple to go back to your SOP and say, okay, I need to change this step, or I need to take this step all the way out, or maybe this step needs to come before this step to create a smoother process. Then you also want to have an SOP based on client communication. So when someone signs up as a new client, they should not be getting emails or text messages pertaining to your leads, right? Your leads are people who have not purchased anything from you yet. Those are people you want to prompt to book a call, to join a consultation, to come to a free event, to actually make a purchase. Well, when your clients have made a purchase, they need to be removed from all of that lead nurturing communication and added to the client communication. Maybe that is, for example, one email a week explaining how to work with you, talking about your service, talking about some tips and some tricks and, some check-in points. You really want to make sure that you have it all laid out so it's super simple for you to go in and make those changes as needed. Then probably one of the most important SOPs you need to have in place is how are you going to collect testimonials and reviews? Right? If you're getting testimonials, reviews / feedback, that allows you to become even better at what you do, right? You can get the feedback so that you can either enhance or improve what you have been doing, or you can continue to do whatever you're doing that's amazing, that only you are so great at doing. You want to make sure you have an SOP in place so that you know exactly when that sweet spot to ask someone for a testimonial or review is. For example, if we talk about people in the fitness industry, takes about 6 weeks for other individuals to notice that your client has been making changes to their diet, to their fitness regimen, really putting in the work. They're feeling really good, right? The first week or so, they're feeling really sore, hungry, kind of crappy. The second week might still be feeling that way. Third, fourth week, they maybe start to see some changes in their body. The fifth week, the sixth week, that's when other people are commenting on their body. They are noticing they're sleeping better. They have more energy, right? That's the sweet spot. That's when you want to ask them for a review. And you don't want to have to remember to do that. So you want to set your SOPs up, and we'll talk about automations here in just a minute because they go hand in hand, but you want to set your SOPs up so you know when is the best time to collect that testimonial or collect that review. Which leads us to our third tip, which is the power of simple automations. We do not want to underestimate simple automations. In my line of business, I see automations of all sizes, from the simplest you can think of to the most complex you can think of, and maybe even beyond that. I don't want us to underestimate the power of simple automations. Think about all of the small tasks that you do every day. Think about those tasks that are redundant that you do every single day, or maybe you do them twice a week, or maybe you do them 3 times a month, but it takes you so much time because you have to keep going back into it and redoing it from the beginning, right? So think about what tasks you're doing that could be automated. Think about how much time you would save every single day if you automated the small but important tasks. Then think about how much money you would save, right? Because if you are automating your tasks, then you don't have to spend time on trying to schedule a call with someone, you can just send them your calendar link. You don't have to spend time on trying to chase someone for an invoice or trying to remember when so and so signed up so that you can send out your review. You can automate all of this, and then you can spend your time on being the CEO of your business, or being the salesperson of your business, or being the designer of your business, so that you can actually generate more revenue. So here I want to talk about 4 absolutely must-have automations to buy back your time and grow your revenue. So the very first one is appointment reminders. Have you ever booked a call with someone? They seem like they are super interested. They want to book a call with you, and then they end up no-showing you. That's most definitely happened to me. And then they say, oh, I forgot. Well, why did they forget? They forgot because they didn't get your automations, right? So or they didn't get your reminders, I mean. So you want to set this up. You want to set up, first off, your calendar. You want to make sure that when they book a call on your calendar, they get a confirmation immediately. You get a confirmation immediately. Your calendar gets booked and blocked immediately. Then you want to set up reminders, not just a one-time, hey, your call is booked, but you want to set up reminders leading up towards the call with the opportunity for them to cancel and or reschedule depending on how you set up your business, right? You can just add those links in there or have those keywords so they can text you back, and then they can change their appointment. Make sure you set up the automations so that if they do say reschedule or cancel, their existing appointment automatically gets canceled, and then they get prompted to book a new appointment with you. That way you send them the calendar link and that's it. There's no more going back and forth. Oh, I'm available Tuesday at this time. Oh, I can't do Tuesday. How about Wednesday at this time? That takes so much time and effort from you, and that time and effort is being stolen away from revenue generating tasks that you could be doing in your business. You also want to set up a no-show automation. So let's say someone books a call, they're getting all the reminders, but they still don't show up. Well, you want to just simply mark them as no-show. That will go ahead and send them reminders and say, I'm so sorry that you needed a rain check. Here's my calendar link. Please rebook at a time that works well for you. Another little caveat there with the appointment reminders that I want to plug in is have your automation set up that if they don't open the email with the appointment reminders, have it resent. If they don't open, send them a text message. Send them a message that has them confirm. And if they don't confirm, auto cancel the appointment. If your leads aren't willing to send you a confirmation, then why would you waste your time on them, right? It takes them 2 seconds to send you a confirmation. And then it can, you can know, okay, this person's invested, they're more qualified, they really do want to show up for this appointment. The next automation I want to talk about is invoice reminders and follow-ups. I briefly led into this on the previous slide, but you want to be able to send that invoice off and pretty much forget about it until that money comes into your account. You don't want to have to chase people for money. Of course, there are going to be times people aren't going to pay their invoices and you do have to chase them. But set up your automations. Those automations should send out reminders. Hey, so-and-so, your invoice is due in 3 days. Hey, so-and-so, your invoice is due in 1 week. Hey, so-and-so, your invoice is due tomorrow. Hey, your invoice is due today. Hey, your invoice is 1 day past due or 3 days past due. Send them text messages, send them emails. Another thing I like to do is send myself an internal notification so that I know that, hey, so-and-so is not paid, so I'm not going to be doing more work for them until they pay their bill. I also have pre-recorded voicemails. So if they don't pay their bill and it gets past due, it's going to look like on their phone that I'm calling them and leaving them a voicemail reminding them to pay. I'm not actually calling them, but my automations are set up to make it appear so. Another thing I want to highly recommend is that in those emails and text messages for them to pay, include the link. Make it easy for them. They might be out on the go. Maybe they don't have their computer in front of them. Maybe they don't have their card in front of them. Make it so they can click on a link and all their information pops up. We all have our information saved on our phone and they can easily pay for you. Don't just say, hey, so-and-so, your invoice is past due, and then that be it. Put a link to the invoice in that email or that text message so you make it simple for them. Then I want to talk about lead and client communications. So you should set your automations up to send out nurturing messages. You don't want all of your emails and text messages just to be about, hey, purchase from me. And then once they do, they never hear from you again. You want to set up your automation so that when they submit a form on your website, when they DM you on social media, that they automatically get a message back saying, hey, thanks so much for filling out our form, or thanks so much for contacting us. We'll be in touch soon. Or now that we have so many AI tools, set your automations up to send a text message and then train your AI bot to reply back to them, right? Maybe you have a Instagram DM or a Facebook DM where you say, DM me the code word free guide. They DM you, your automations send them the free guide, and then maybe your bot or your automations can follow up with them, let's say 3 hours later or 1 day later, say, hey, so-and-so, yesterday you requested our free guide. I wanted to know, did you have a chance to look at it? Do you have any questions? Then when they respond, your AI bot can continue to respond with them with the end goal of being to either purchase something or book a call with you, depending on what your service is. When it comes to the client communications, you never want to have people purchase from you and then you just don't talk to them anymore until the next time you want them to purchase from you again. You want to nurture them. You want to thank them for signing up with you. You want to thank them for their purchase, and you want to ask them, how's it going? Check in with them. Hey, did you get a chance to try out my course? Hey, did you get a chance to read this ebook? Hey, did you get a chance to try this workout? How are things working out for you? You want to make sure that you're staying in communication with them. You also want to make sure that you have your automation set up to collect and respond to reviews and testimonials. You should have a link for them to either fill out a testimonial form or, even better, place a Google review. When they place that Google review, it should pop straight into your automated system, and then you can use AI or an alert to yourself that they've left you a review so you can go back and respond. Google loves when people respond to reviews, and Google will therefore place you up higher on Google if you're using their review system. Not everyone's on Google, and that's fine. You can be on Facebook and do the exact same thing. You can collect testimonials and use them on your website or in any of your marketing materials. And then you also want to make sure you're asking people for referrals, right? So if you set your lead and client communications up correctly, your automations up correctly, you don't have to keep doing this over and over and over and over. Once you mark them as a lead, they'll get the lead messages. Once you mark them as a client, they'll get removed from the lead and get all the client messages. And then if we go back to our client journey, we know where the best check-in points are. We know where the best time it is to collect that referral. We know when the best time is to collect that review. And then also, when is it time to ask for another sale? Right? If they purchase from you one time, they're going to likely purchase from you another time. Set your automations up to do all of the heavy lifting for you. Okay, my fourth tip is to spend a little bit of extra time in the beginning, or maybe you've already ran your business for a year and you're feeling flustered and overwhelmed, right? Spend some extra time and organize your systems. I am a systems and automation expert, so I really geek out on all things systems, but you don't have to be a high level systems expert to know how to create the systems, because you know already what works best in your business. So some ways that you can stay more organized is by using a project management tool. You can create standardized naming conventions. You can stay consistent with your terminology so that once you name something, you're not going back and trying to remember all the different names that you gave it. Let's say you give a tag inside of your automated system. So you don't want to call someone a lead one time and then leads with an S a different time, right? You want to make sure you're staying organized, and I have some tips on how we can do that. So my very first tip is do not rely on your brain. As crazy as that sounds, as a business owner, you have a million things floating around in your brain at any given time. You're thinking about your new offer, the new clients that just signed up, the sales call that went great, or maybe the sales call that didn't go great. You're thinking about your dogs or your kids or your life. You're thinking about your website and, oh, I have to remember to send this email and go pick up the mail and all the things that you have to do. Don't rely on your brain. You're human. Humans forget. Find a project management tool, a spreadsheet, a planner, a piece of paper, whatever works for you. Put it all on paper. Write it down so that up in here can be your creative space, your productive space, and allow you the space, the energy, the time that you need to be great at what it is you do. Put everything out, all the noise, put all that out on paper, okay? Use a project management tool. That's a super easy way to stay organized. My favorite tool to utilize is called Basecamp. It's very inexpensive, and you can create projects, you can upload pictures, right? You can go back to your putting your SOPs in, create little videos. Loom is probably one of the softwares that I use the most every single day. I'm consistently making Loom videos to share with my clients or share with my team, or even for myself. If I want to remember how I did something at one point, I make a video, I record myself doing it, then I use AI to take all the things that I said in the video and make a checklist, right? It doesn't have to be so difficult. By staying organized, you're winning in life and you're winning in business. The next tip I want to give you is to clear your schedule. So what that means is you don't want to have a bunch of busy stuff on your schedule. You want to have the things on your schedule that really are going to move the needle forward in your business while also supporting your life. Because if you, your person, not the CEO, not the entrepreneur, but you, your person, is not doing well physically, emotionally, mentally, your business is not going to do well. So you need to clear some time on your schedule, or even block off some free time on your schedule so that you can do things that pour back into yourself. But if you don't take control over your schedule is going to control you, especially as you get more and more busy. Then finally, create your system and stick with it. There are so many systems experts out there, and we will all probably preach different things to you. There is no 100% correct way or 100% incorrect way. You know your system. And if you don't know your system, write down everything you do. I highly encourage you to use a time tracking tool. We use Clockify over here at Taft Systems, and just track. Take inventory of all the things you do for 3 days in a row. Write it all down, then take a step back, reflect on it. That is your system. Those are things that you're consistently doing. Map it out. What can go where? How can you maximize your time without using more energy or putting more effort into it? If you stay organized by following those steps, it really truly allows you to spend more time on the actions in your business that are going to grow your business and make you more money. That brings me to my next tip. Tip number 5. Remember, you are the expert. You know what's going on in your business. You know why you started your business. There is a reason why people come to you. There is a reason why people purchase from you. No one can tell you how to do the best thing that you know how to do. People can tell you ways that they think that can help you optimize, or they can be like me and tell you how you can change the other things around what it is that you do. But when it comes to the core of what you do, you are the expert and you know best. So I always like to tell people, don't sell the features or the how-tos of what you do. Okay? I want you to sell your solution. What are your clients' pain points? How are you solving or resolving their pain points? How are you making them feel better or achieve their goals or reach their dreams? That is your solution. That is what you are the expert at. You don't have to tell them, well, I sit down and I spend 7 hours writing out your workout plan, and then I spend 5 hours doing research, or I do this or I do that. They don't care and they don't need to know. All they need to know is how you're going to make them better at XYZ. That is what you need to sell them. Your solution are not your features, right? We have an all-in-one business management platform. I do not sell all of the features of our platform. I sell the solution that we provide our clients. And I challenge you to think about that when you're selling. The next thing I want to encourage you to keep in mind is to always use positive narratives. No one likes a Debbie Downer. No one likes when someone's negative. When your clients or your leads, potential clients, are coming to you, they have finally reached a spot in their life where they're ready to make change. They're ready to better themselves or their situation. So you want to encourage them and use positive narratives. You don't want to talk about what your competitor is doing and say, well, we're better than them because they do this, this, and this, and this, and that's bad, and all of that. You don't want to do that. You can say, this is how we elevate our industry. This is how we provide exceptional customer support through XYZ, right? Maybe there's something your client does, or sorry, your competitor does that you really think is a negative thing. Well, you don't have to say that. You can say, here at our company, we do XYZ. Then I want you to remember that not everyone is your ideal client, okay? Not everyone is gonna be perfect for you. You are allowed to say to a client or a lead that, hey, I don't think we're a good fit, but here you can reach out to so-and-so, or I don't think we're a good fit, or that's not exactly in my wheelhouse, or that's not a service we provide at this point, but I will keep you in mind if I come across a service provider who can support you in what it is you need. It is okay to not serve everyone. It is totally okay to say, no thank you, right? You don't need to be desperate. You are an expert at what you do. And then finally, comparison is a thief. Some sayings are comparison is a thief of joy. Some are comparison is a thief of happiness. Comparison is definitely a thief in business. Do not compare yourself to what your other people in your industry are doing. You can go do market research. You can go see what other solutions are out there, what other service providers are doing, but don't sit there and compare your exact methodology with their exact methodology. Why would you waste your time on that, right? Remember, you are the expert. And I see we have a couple of questions coming in here, and I'll answer those closer to the end. So feel free to keep sending those in here. All right, so our sixth tip is to build relationships and to do that from the beginning. Okay, you want to turn your community into raving fans. Well, how do you do that? My very first tip is to segment your list so that you know where your clients are coming from. Do you get most of your clients from a specific Facebook group? Well, if you do, go talk to the owner of that Facebook group. Thank them. Ask them if they have buy me a coffee, or if they have some type of page on their website where you can give them $10 or send them an Amazon gift card, or just send them a thank you note. You want to make sure that you know where people are coming from so that you can continue to nurture those relationships. I also recommend you keep notes when you have conversations so that you can tailor your conversations to be really genuine and build your relationships with your network. Remember, it's much easier to make sales from referrals and previous clients than it is to get new clients. If you turn your community into raving fans, you won't have to chase clients. So 4 reasons why building relationships is key to growth. Your clients will do the selling for you. If you have happy clients, they will talk. If you have unhappy clients, they will talk. So you want them saying positive things about you. You want them referring you. So you want to make sure that you are building relationships. And how do you do that? Well, you can do that through client nurturing, through your emails, through your text messages, through your check-ins. Don't just have them purchase and then they never hear from you again, right? That's not a relationship. That's just a transaction. You want to build relationships and then your clients will do the selling for you. Another reason why you need to build relationships is because it will allow you to have a full pipeline of leads. If you are trying to go out and get leads when your pipeline is dried up, you're already way too late. You should have a pipeline of leads and you should still be out there talking to people, asking for leads, providing them value, asking how you can help them without asking for anything in return. Give them your freebies, right? Make them want to opt in and get on your email list or your text message list or get in your Facebook group or become a part of your network. You always want to have that full pipeline of leads. Life is life and life happens. You can be the most amazing, service provider, but you will always have some churn and there will always be some clients that will, go out at the little hole in the bottom of your bucket, but you need to keep filling them in. If you build good relationships, you will always have people referring to you, talking about you, promoting you without you having to do it. I've mentioned referrals a few times now. I just want to say it again. Referrals are worth gold. If you get on a sales call with someone or a discovery call, like I like to call them, and they've been referred to you, about 80-90% of the job is already done, right? They've already asked their friend all about the ins and outs of your business. They've probably looked you up online. Referrals are worth gold. If someone's referred to you, you don't have to do the hard work. Just listen to them and then provide them your expert solution. Clients will always come back for more if you build good relationships with them. Stay honest with your clients. It costs so much more money to get a new client than it does to turn around and keep your client. Just a little side note, I saw a conversation here on social media the other day about someone had in their automations, when someone canceled, they got like a little survey to do, and if they did that survey, they would get like $25 Amazon card or $50 Amazon gift card or something along the lines of that. And that was genius, right? Now you're thinking, oh wow, okay, they're paying people $50 to give them feedback, but that is worth gold, because they give you feedback versus just canceling, you can potentially change whatever their negative narrative is, right? Whatever reason they think they should cancel, you can potentially change that and keep them as a client. And paying $25 or $50 for client acquisition is much cheaper than paying $100 or $150, $200, however much money it costs you to normally get your clients. So keep that in mind. And if you don't know what your client acquisition cost is, I recommend you sit down, think about all of the time that goes into getting a new client, all of the work that goes into getting a new client, all the money that goes into getting a new client. That is your client acquisition cost. Okay, so my seventh and final tip before I get to the questions is to hire a team. Please do not wait until you're drowning in work to outsource the work that you either don't want to do, don't know how to do, or you know that someone else should be handling, because your secret sauce of what you do can generate more revenue than doing some of the redundant tasks that come along with running a business. So some of the things that you can outsource can be maybe your account setups, your onboarding, could be answering emails for you or answering chats for you, your bookkeeping, doing check-in calls, maybe doing support calls, building your funnels or setting up your social media, connecting with your group or your network on social media, right? Those are things that other people can do for you that you don't have to do. So 4 reasons to hire a team, okay? Your main reason is you don't want to be the bottleneck in your business. If only you know how to do everything, then everything stops with you. What happens when you're sick one day? What happens when you have to go leave work early to go watch a soccer game for one of your kids? What happens if you have to take your dog to the vet? What happens if you need a day off? You just need a mental break, right? What happens if you have a doctor's appointment? Does that mean your entire business is just going to stop? What happens if you break your arm and now you can't type? You can't be the bottleneck of your business. You need to hire a team. And you don't have to bring on employees, and they don't have to be full-time. You can bring in contractors that can work a few hours a week. If you delegate, that allows you to buy back your time. You might think that you can't afford to hire someone or contract someone in, but I suggest you sit down and think about, okay, if you contracted someone in, let's pretend for $15, $20 an hour, and you contracted them in for 3 hours, 5 hours a week, what could you do in those 3 to 5 hours a week that could make you even more money than the $15 to $20 an hour you're spending on a contractor? Then you don't have to be the expert in everything. You're the expert in your key offering in your business. That doesn't mean that you have to be the bookkeeper expert. That doesn't mean that you have to be the social media expert. That doesn't mean that you have to be the creative designer expert to be able to run your business. Outsource those things so that you can focus on what it is that you truly do best and generate the most revenue. Finally, if you hire a team, it allows your business to grow, because you can spend your time on doing tasks or projects development that really do allow your business to grow and that can bring you in more money. So at Taft Systems, we totally get it. More systems, more problems. Where do you go? How do you start? What to do? What happens when you do it and you're growing and you're growing too fast? We would love to have a conversation with you. I'm going to leave my contact information up here. We are giving away a free consultation to everyone who reaches out to us. Just let us know that you watched this webinar, and I would love to connect with everyone. Let me go ahead and take a look at the chat here and answer some questions. So there's a question here. Can you tell me more about what is a reactivation campaign and when should or how you should wait before doing one? That's a really good question. So a reactivation campaign is a way of reactivating, think of it as returning on old leads or old contacts, people you have on your email list who haven't heard from you in a while, right? Maybe they even forgot that they opted into your list. So a reactivation campaign is a way to bring you back to the forefront of their mind. I recommend introducing yourself again, letting them know, hey, you're receiving this email or this text message because you opted in at some point or you made a purchase at some point. Just something so that they know that you're not spamming them, because you don't want everyone on your list to suddenly unsubscribe or mark you as spam. That will really hurt your online reputation, not in the sense of other people knowing, but in the sense of the email marketing servers and with the telephone service providers. If you have a lot of people opting out all at once, they mark you as spam. So you want to make sure that you're kind of warming these people back up again. You don't just want to not have spoken to them for a year and then you just blast them, hey, purchase my offer, right? That's when people are going to unsubscribe, or mark you as spam. So you want to have a reactivation campaign, I would say at least once a year if you're not consistently nurturing your clients. I don't think there's anything wrong with a reactivation campaign a little bit more frequent, especially if you have a new offer or new product that you're launching. But you want to make sure you set it up in a way that it's not like, okay, I'm getting a bunch of emails from Kerry because she's launching this new offer, and then dead silence. And then 4 months later, I'm getting a bunch of emails from Kerry because she's launching this new offer. That's super spammy. No one likes that. You want to be genuine. You want to talk to them. You want to make your emails conversational. You want to introduce yourself. Tell them why they're getting the email, tell them what you're going to offer them, let them know the frequency. Hey, this is Kerry. I just wanted to reintroduce myself. It's been a while since we spoke. You're getting this email because you've made a purchase from me in the past. I have this new offer coming up. I want to let you know I'm going to send you, one email. I'm going to send you an email over the next 5 to 7 days or however long your reactivation campaign is going to be. I do typically recommend a reactivation campaign is about 7 days or 1 week. I also recommend when you're setting it up to set up your email tracking links so you can track who's clicking on what. Maybe you want to tag someone when they click on the link, but they don't make a purchase. So then you can start, instead of sending them like nurturing emails about the offer, now you can send them almost like abandoned cart type nurturing sequences. It doesn't have to be like stalker-ish, like I saw you open this email, but you didn't take action. It could just be, hey, Kerry, I thought I would let you know a little bit more about this product or this service, right? If they click, but they didn't purchase. Do make sure though, if you're doing a reactivation campaign and you have a call to action that's like, hey, book a call, or hey, sign up, or download, or purchase, or whatever, that if they do actually take action, that they get removed from the reactivation campaign. You don't want to keep asking them to do something that they already did. So I hope I answered that question. Just let me know if there's any other questions. I see there's another one here. So what SOP should you start with if you are in an idea or startup phase? That's a really good question. So just a quick recap, SOP stands for Standard Operating Procedures. So if you are in the idea or startup phase, you might not know all of the typical tasks that you're going to be doing. So what I would recommend if you're in an idea or startup phase is to still track your time that you're spending on everything and then write it out. So like, what do you want to happen when someone signs up? Right? What do you want to happen when you send your email to collect information if anyone is even interested in this idea? I read a book recently called The $1 Million Weekend. I think it's $1 Million Weekend. I'll have to double check that. But basically, that book was all about testing out your ideas within a weekend and seeing if you can make one sell in the weekend. If you could, you might have, a solid idea. If not, then you might want to rethink it. So if you're in that idea slash startup phase, go ahead and write everything down that you want to happen once you get to the next phase and the next phase, right? You might be thinking about, okay, when I make X amount of dollars, I'm going to hire someone. Okay, great. You know that. Well, what is it that you're doing right now in your startup phase that when you do make X amount of dollars to hire someone, that someone else could be doing for you? Well, maybe okay, every time I get a new client, I need to make sure that they go on the email list. I need to make sure they get tagged. I need to make sure that we check in with them after 1 week. I need to make sure that they get an invoice, right? That's your SOP. And even if you're in the startup phase, you still already know that you need to do those things or you're figuring it out. So write it all down. I highly recommend Basecamp as a project management tool because you can see what you already did and what tasks you already completed, and then you can easily copy those to make like a new project or to-do list template. And then you can hand that off to your team or keep that for your SOP. Again, I also recommend using Loom. Record yourself as you are writing down what you're doing or as you're actually going through the motion and doing the tasks, because then you'll already have it recorded and you won't have to redo it when you're like, oh shoot, now I really need that SOP. So that was a really good question. It looks like that was all of the questions that we have for today. So I just want to say thank you all so much for having me. Again, if anyone would like a free consultation with me, please reach out. TaftSystems.com. You can book a call with us, and we are so excited to talk to everyone, regardless of what stage of business they're in, and talk about how they can create some systems and automations. Thank you all so much.